So I've just come back from the US where I spent a week coaching at the Johnny O's Seaside Summit, brilliant event with some wonderful people. And during the event, I was giving various lessons on the short game, iron play, and driver. And what was really interesting is many of them were falling for a misconception. I want to make sure you're not doing the same. They'd been told to hit down on the ball with their irons and their short game. They'd also been told to make sure they take a divot after the golf ball. Now, that's all great. But how they were doing it was completely and utterly incorrect. And I see this so many times, completely misinterpreted. In this lesson, what I want to do is I want to share with you what I did with them to improve their short game, their iron play, and their driver. And all it was, one was just a changing concept that provided them with this effortless rhythm which allowed them very naturally to strike down on every shot, so they struck it perfectly. But they also, whereas they struck down on it, generated effortless power. And that's super, super important. No point in just striking a ball and it going nowhere. This is what I want to cover in today's lesson. Before I do though, look, if you're new to the channel, for your first lesson of mine, please consider subscribing. I release videos just like this one every single week to try and help you improve your game. Plus you never have to remember a thing. Everything we do here, I'll put into a free download practice guide in the description box below. So I think by the end of this lesson, you're going to have something that you can kind of work into every part of your game, whether that be your short game, your iron play, your fairwoods, or your driver. And let's start with the misconception that I'm seeing over and over again. This is what's ruining so many golfers, and I don't know if you've been the same. So a lot of times when we start to struggle to strike a golf ball, we've been told we want to strike the ball first and then the ground. We've also been told to hit down on the golf ball. What do you think that would do to your action if you're trying to hit the ball and trying to hit down on the golf ball? Well, this is what I'm seeing a lot. When people are trying to hit down on it, they start to look down. They're starting to stay down. When they start hitting into the ground, start fatting it, then start pulling away. They even start to flick the wrists. What they don't do is what I see with all top players. Great players get to here, and they're actually, the club's getting thrown, but they're actually moving away from the ground. They're actually, in a sense, moving away from the ground through impact. So they're actually working up and around. They're not working down, which is what I see with most players, which gives them two things. It doesn't just help them strike it more consistently, but notice this. When I start to work away from the ground, can you see how the club gets catapulted with speed? Whereas when I'm going towards the ground, I now struggle. There isn't this kind of throw, right? And this is how they get effortless power. So, how can you go about feeling this? This is really important. This is what I gave to the guys. You have to learn to feel this in every part of your game. Let's just start initially just with the irons and show you what the best players are doing. When they swing back here, when they come down, it's important to understand this. The hands here, when they're opposite the right leg on the way down, this is where the hands are at their lowest point. But if I look here, look at how far that is away from the golf ball, right? Now from here, what they're going to do, these hands now are going to work upwards and around. They actually work up. And it's the working upwards that then throws the club downwards, right? So how do the hands work upwards? Well, when they're coming here, the shoulder, the pivot of the body is all working up and around this way to throw the club, right? So there's ultimately the complete opposite pattern. The best players are working upwards through the impact area. The worst player is in terms of consistency of ball striking. They're still very much down on the golf ball. They've even often, you may have heard the advice, you hit a bad shot, you've lifted your head up, stay down on it. All these things are ruining actually your ball striking. So let me give you 2 or 3 different drills. Now each one of these drills I gave to one of the players out there, and they're all different because everyone responds differently. They're only going to take you a minute or 2 a day to practice, to learn the feel of this, but I promise you, they will help with every part of your game. I think the best place to probably start to learn the feel of this is the short game. We'll start with some basic chip and pitch shots, and then we'll work up to iron play, because again, absolute culprit with the short game is people trying to hit down on it, the legs start to get buckled, everything's working downwards, and you're dead from there. The best chippers, they have a rhythm and a pattern, and it tends to look something like this. They'll tend to work slightly down on the backswing, and then on the way through, look, watch this. I'm actually working upwards. And you might go, well, how do you hit down on a golf ball if you're coming upwards? It's simply down to where you position. So as long as you've got your position of your body back in front of the golf ball here, as I work upwards, I'm naturally going to hit down on the golf ball, right? I'm not trying to force my handle forward or anything like that. But if I'm back here and I try and do that, yes, I'll top it, I'll fat it, you name it. But I'm going to show you something. I'm going to hit a shot here. Naturally, to start with, what I'm going to show you is in two single arms. Get myself set, ball handles leaning forward, ball back in my stance. And all I'm going to do, look, is I'm going to move the club back with my left shoulder. Left shoulder is going to work downwards. And then on the way through, look, all I'm going to do is I'm going to work the left shoulder upwards, and I'm going to allow my body to stand up and pivot into the follow through. There's going to be no attempt for me to try and keep that handle down, force the downward strike. I'm actually going to work upwards through the impact area. Left shoulder down, and left shoulder up. Watch what happens. Watch my angle of attack here. 5.8 is my angle of attack, 3.6 my low point after the golf ball. So there's no attempt for me there to strike after the golf ball. But I've naturally done it simply because of my setup, where my body's positioned, and because my body's in a great position, I don't have to try and hit down on it now. It's going to naturally happen. All I'm going to do is work my body up through the impact area. So my left shoulder goes down, left shoulder goes up. Hey presto. We're going to have a downward angle attack of 8.4 degrees down with a low point of 6.8 inches after the golf ball. Massive, right? This is the first part of feeling this. You do it with short game, right? Take your trail hand, do the same thing, right? So what we're going to do now is this. We don't use the arms to do this. We use the shoulder. From here, I'm going to go lean my shaft forward, get my weight slightly further forward. I'm going to feel like I'm going to work down on the backswing. My shoulder brings the club back. I'm going to keep my shoulder working through. I'm going to work upwards through the impact area. Watch this. 1, 2, working up. Watch what happens now, the angle attack. 3.6 down, not quite as much. With my right hand, kind of normal because it's on this side of my body. But let's see if we can go a bit steeper on this, right? So how do I get a bit steeper? Again, just lean a bit further forward. Right shoulder up, here. And away we go. Right shoulder up, and through, right? So that's a lovely sound. 5 angle of attack down, 3.7 inches after the golf ball. Now we join those hands together and we're starting to move now towards closer to full swing mechanics. So just to feel this, right? So you start with your short game, you build it up. So right shoulder up, left shoulder up, and I'm simply, look at this. I am now working from here, look, upwards through the shot. I am not continuing to work downwards. You can see here, watch my trail leg. This leg here actually starts to straighten. It doesn't buckle into position here. So look at this here. Right shoulder down and through. So let's start. So you practice that, and I promise you, you'll start to feel the rhythm of this. Yeah, and it is just it's like a pattern of movement. Look, down, up, and you just find that rhythm all the time. I'm working up through the impact area here. Now, how do you apply that with your irons? Similar kind of thing, right? Now, I'll give you a couple of drills with irons. The first drill, to learn the feelers, and look, feel is everything. You're trying to learn, drills are going to give you the feels. I can't tell you what to feel. So follow these drills and you'll get what I'm talking about. So when I'm here, look, what I'm going to do is I'm going to get my ball position about club inside my lead heel. I'm going to position my pelvis here, this is very important, over my lead heel. So it's a drill. Why do I have my pelvis here? Because all the best players to strike it, make sure their pelvis is forward. This is what's going to help you strike down on the golf ball. Most poor players are back here. Pelvis is over the lead heel. My head is in the middle of my stance, okay? Now all I'm going to do here now is this. Just do a small swing here. I'm going to keep my trail knee almost pointing forward. I'm not going to let it buckle in or anything. Now from here what I do is I simply work my body up and around. Notice this, I'm not working it down. I am working it from here, look, up and around. Now all this is a great feeling because now suddenly you're going to start to get the feeling of your swing now working up through impact that allows the club to naturally fall down on the golf ball whilst at the same time accelerating through impact. So you start to learn the sensation of power. Let's look at this in action. You can see here, I'm simply from there, look, working up through that impact area. Look at my low point here, 4.5 inches after the golf ball. So despite me moving upwards through impact, the club naturally comes down because of the position I put my body in. Learn the feel of this, right? Now, one thing you can do at home, I've got a couple of things. Grab an alignment stick. Again, more feelings to kind of generate this. Some of these drills are going to connect with you, some won't. Look at here, look, from here. Bend that alignment stick on the floor. It's like striking a match from here. My hands are at the lowest point. What I'm going to do now is with my body pivot, I am going to look with my lead shoulder here, look, and my body, I'm going to move my left shoulder up and around here. And where am I finishing? Here, my legs, everything's extending upwards. So I'm down in the ground here, I'm low with my hands here. I'm working upwards, yeah? Develop this sensation, not the downward motion. You're starting to develop, you should start to feel this kind of catapult motion. And then we're going to link now, finally, the rhythmical element of this, which you can start to transfer to a golf course. Again, all this stuff can be done in the garden, and we can link this to what we did with the short game. Take your left hand only. I'm right-handed, by the way, right? The left hand only. Get the left shoulder working the club away. Now, when people do with the left hand, everybody who I coach this to initially does this. They just use their arm. It doesn't kind of work like that. But what I want to do is here, look at my left shoulder. Left shoulder's working down here, right? Now from here, what am I going to do? Get myself here, and then what happens? I work my left shoulder up and around. Down, up and around. Not down. Up, down here, up and around. I'm kind of getting that sensation of the rhythm of this motion. This would be too early, wouldn't it? Throwing it from the top. No, I'm coming down and up. Down here, opposite my right leg, and then I'm firing it upwards. I'm really getting that sensation of this club firing down. It's a rhythm that we want to start to create. And that is why I started it initially just with your short game. If you can start hitting some short shots, and you could go on a golf course and think, do you know what, I'm going to put this into play, Danny, but I'm going to start initially. Can I feel this first of all with pitches? Forget about iron play, forget about driving. Can I actually get myself set up here in position, and can I create a movement where I feel like I'm going down with my left shoulder on the way back, and then I'm standing up, and I'm pivoting, look, through here. So I'm finishing what feels like much, much taller through the shot. And every time I finish taller, I'm moving that club still down on the golf ball, look here, comfortably, but I'm controlling that pattern, that rhythm. It's so different to the pattern what I see with a lot of golfers, which is a heave and a heave downwards. If you can get this pattern in your golf swing in a really subtle way, starting with a short game and then gradually building it up, you'll just feel effortless. And it's what you see with the best players when they make this golf swing look easy. So I hope you enjoyed this video. If you did, give it a thumbs up, maybe share it with one of your friends. And of course, look, if you're new to the channel, press that subscribe button right here. I'm sure you're going to want to know how this applies to your driver, how you can hit driver much, much better. Check this video out right here. And if you'd like some personalized help with your game, make sure you head on to dannymaude.com. But until next week, have a wonderful golfing week.